And I don't really want to get scammed.
And this is who you are. Hindi ikaw ito, Kiko.
Well, not yet. Hindi ka pa alam. We don't know, because once you start telling yourself that you can never be evil, that's the most dangerous situation to place yourself in, because everything you do from that point on, you would believe to be good, even when it's evil. So every time, you always have to ask yourself whether or not you're still doing the right thing, whether or not you're still a good person. So if you're...
Oy, Lacson, naririnig mo ba itong mga salita na ito na nanggagaling sa bata? Grabe ho ang husay nitong bata na to. Ibang klase ho ang kanyang prinsipyo at paninindigan. Mas pagkakamalan ko pa hong kuning-kuning itong si Ping Lacson kaysa dito kay Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Kasi una sa lahat, hindi ho siya nagpakaaso dito kay Martin Romualdez. Alam ho niya ang kanyang sinasabi. Nakikita ho niya kung ano talaga ang nangyayari sa ating bansa ngayong mga panahon na to. Interview ho nitong si Congressman Kiko Barzaga dito kay Sir Boy Abunda ang pag-uusapan natin dito sa video na to. Malabo ho. Malayo ho sa paglalarawan ng kanyang mga kritiko ang kanyang ipinakitang husay at prinsipyo at paninindigan dyan sa interview na yan nitong si Sir Boy Abunda dito kay Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Pero bago ho yan mga kababayan, kung bago lang ho kayo sa PH Update, isang like at isang subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan, at sa mga gustong sumali sa ating community, yung join button nandyan lang ho sa baba para kayo ho ang pinakaunang makakita sa ating mga reaction video. Hayun na nga ho mga kababayan, umpisahan ho natin ang ating talakayan dito sa pinaka-latest na video nitong si Congressman Kiko Barzaga, na kung saan Congressman Barzaga's speech on the call of the people for President Marcos resignation. Dapat lang ho talaga mga kababayan, sa tingin ho natin napapanahon na mag-resign etong si Marcos Jr. Pakinggan ho natin to mga kababayan.
Our President Marcos no longer serve the interests of the Filipino people, but rather the interests of his family and his political allies.
Nako.
For over 3 years, we have endured the inadequacies of his presidency, from almost losing Mindanao to secession, to the escalating tensions almost leading us to war, and lastly to our current problem now. The hundreds of billions of flood control funds stolen, where his cousin, former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, was implicated in the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. In relation to that, I have recently discovered a plot where they plan to remove me, the congressman who dared to criticize them and their corruption, from the House of Representatives through the Ethics Committee or through a baseless accusation of crime. And with how much control President Marcos and his son, House Majority Leader Sandro Marcos, has over Congress, I believe they will succeed soon. And that is why, with the limited time I have, I will use the position granted to me by the people to call for his removal from power. Just like how we removed the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr., we shall also remove this president that has betrayed our country. I'm no longer concerned about whatever I must sacrifice. If I am to be killed, then I shall die fighting. If I am to be imprisoned, then I shall fight from the confines of my cell. If I am to be defeated and forgotten, then I shall entrust this burden onto the next generation. With Defense Secretary Gilbert Chidoro bringing our country closer and closer to a war with China, I'm uncertain of our future. But there is hope. Armed Forces of the Philippines, Philippine National Police, and Philippine Reserve Forces, along with all the citizens who dream of a better future for our country and our descendants, join our call to invoke our democratic right to have our voices be heard. Let us call upon people power and create a better Philippines that our children will be proud of. Starting October 12, 2025, we shall work towards freeing our beloved country from the hands of the greedy and corrupt. Long live the Philippines, long live the Filipino people.
Saludo dito kay Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Napakaganda ho ng mensahe niya na yun. Napakaikli pero na ika nga napagkasya niya yung kung anong klaseng administrasyon ang meron itong si Marcos Jr. Grabe ho. Saludo. Mas pagkakamalan ko pa hong merong saltik sa utak yung mga kritiko nitong mama na to base sa kanyang ipinapakita ngayong mga panahon na to. Siguro talagang ganyan lang yung personality niya. Hindi ho natin masabi. Meron ho talaga kasing ganyan. Yung mga comedian, yung tipong hindi nahihiya yung sasabihin nila yung gusto nila sabihin. Meron hong ganyang klaseng tao. At sa tingin natin, etong si Congressman Kiko Barzaga, talagang kung anong nararamdaman niya, walang makakapigil. Sasabihin at sasabihin niya to. Kaya para dito kay Ping Lacson, ang tanong, bakit hindi ka ini-interview nitong si Kuya Boy? Itong si Sir Boy Abunda. Diba? Yun ang tanong dun eh. Kung ikaw talagang sinasabi mo ang katotohanan, ika nga, bakit hindi ka ini-interview nitong si Kuya Boy Abunda? No? Ito, panoorin ho natin ang interview niya dito kay Kuya Boy Abunda. Again.
Hello.
Maraming salamat sa pagkakataong ito. You know, with everything that you're doing, what is it that you're doing?
What I'm doing is I'm creating a different and more advanced version of Congress, one where someone like me would have more control over what will happen and what policies will be enacted. Because I believe that the current leadership within Congress and the lower house is incapable of bringing the change necessary so that we won't repeat what happened with the 2025 budget.
Okay, are you happy with the change of leadership? Because it's now your speaker, our speaker now is Bodjiti. Your take on this?
It's not necessarily a change of leadership because Bodjiti is still under Romualdez. He was a deputy speaker under Martin Romualdez. He is loyal to both the Marcos administration and Romualdez. And lastly, during the time when the flood control anomalies, the time when it erupted, when it became viral, Bodjiti was completely silent on the issue. He was not calling for any investigations, or neither was he having any press conferences or speaking on behalf of the speaker regarding on any of the issues.
Kiko, what is it that you don't like, you hate, you detest, whatever the word is, about Martin Romualdez? Why is he your enemy?
It's not necessarily that Martin Romualdez is my enemy, but he goes against the interests of the people who I would consider my friends, which are the people of the Philippines. He's no longer working for the benefit of the Philippines, and him getting away would prove that every other speaker could do what he has done and get away with it as well. So therefore,
Kaya ho bang sabihin nitong si Lacson lahat ng tinuran na yan, ng bata na yan? Kaya ho bang sabihin nung mga politikong sinasabi nila na unwell o wala sa tamang kondisyon itong si Congressman Kiko Barzaga? Mga kababayan, matino pa ho ang utak nito doon sa mga nagsasabi na sila matino ngayong mga panahon na to. Matino ho mga kababayan. Hindi dito pa lang sa interview niya Sabihin na natin napaka-unique ng personality niya. Meron talagang taong ganyan. Hindi ho natin mawawala yan. Meron taong pagka naispatan ng camera, talagang yung iba nga sumasayaw, kumakanta, di ba? O itong si Congressman Kiko Barzaga, pagka nakikita niya merong kabalinto na ang nangyayari, talagang lumulundag siya. Talagang inaatake niya yung mga issue. Hindi ho siya kagaya nitong si Lacson na hawak sa liig nitong si Martin Romualdez. Pagka hinila ni Martin Romualdez yung kanyang tali, wala hong nagagawa yung si Lacson. Sabihin natin.
I am maximizing my efforts to ensure that Martin Romualdez will be held accountable for any possible involvement he has and for any negligence he may have in the flood control anomalies.
Ano bang katiwalian? Ano ba ang nagawa ni Martin Romualdez?
There are only two possibilities in this scenario. Either he is involved in the flood control project, must be investigated, or he's completely negligent in the flood control anomalies, which means he must also be investigated because allowing congressmen to steal hundreds of billions as the sitting speaker is also something worthy of investigation.
Naniniwala ka ba that former Appropriations Committee Chair Zaldico is, in my words again, for lack of a better word, is in connivance with the Speaker?
Well, it would be impossible for him not to be in connivance because the Appropriation Committee is a very valuable committee, a very sought-after committee by congressmen, and only someone very close to the administration would be able to receive.
So hindi siya pwede kumilos, hindi siya pwedeng makapagdesisyon ng kung ano man sa appropriations na walang basbas to Speaker Romualdez.
Naturally, that's
That's what you're trying to say. Nung nangangampanya ka, ano ang sinasabi mo sa members of the House of Congress why you were campaigning to be Speaker?
Well, I shared my platforms on what I and on what would not change.
Can you be clear on that? Ano yung mababago, anong hindi mababago pag ikaw ang naging Speaker?
Firstly, the investigation of Martin Romualdez and his deputy speakers in their involvement in the flood control. Secondly, we need to take time to go fix the lower house because there are plenty of issues and corruptions involved. So I would propose a travel ban until December 2026 so everyone can just stay in the Philippines and focus on their work. And lastly, the change in the system of deputy speakerships, in which every political voice will be granted a chance to elect one of their members as deputy speakers rather than through connections with the House Speaker.
If you were campaigning for the post of speakership, you have to have some relationship with the palace. Or do you think hindi mo kailangan ng relasyon sa palasyo to be Speaker?
Firstly, hopefully I don't need that because Marcos hates me right now, but we'll still see. There might be a possibility, and if such possibility exists, then that may be hope of a free Congress that's not influenced by the administration.
Nag-resign si Martin Romualdez. Ang sabi niya, ginawa daw niya yun for the House. He even said, has done nothing wrong. These are loose quotes. At ang sabi niya, the act of leadership is actually the grace to let it go. I heard that in his speech. Your comment?
Well,
Wala naman daw siyang kasalanan.
yes. From what we could assume from Martin Romualdez's actions, he does not seem to be the type to let go of power unless absolutely necessary. He will be the type to cling onto his position until the very end. And that was the very end for him.
Is he still powerful now?
Well, we will see. They can
How
never
big an
say.
involvement does he have in the flood control?
Oy Lacson, yaan ba ang sinasabi mo na pinagtanong-tanong mo sa mga mayor sa Cavite, ha? Yung mga politiko sa Cavite at sinasabi nila na wala sa tamang katinoan itong si hindi well itong si Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Anak ng toko, napakahusay ng bata, ha? Alam mo niya, ika nga yung pag-intindi niya sa mga nangyayari ngayon sa ating bansa, talagang matindi ho mga kababayan. Naiintindihan ng bata. Yung mga laro sa House of Representative, hindi lang ho siya yung kung ito, ang focus niya lang ay maging Speaker of the House, yung tipong speaker, kahit anong mangyari, maging speaker lang siya. Kaya niya ginagawa yan, maging speaker lang siya. Meron tayong problema. Kaso yung galaw niya, merong prinsipyo at paninindigan. Ayun ho ang hindi kayang gawin nitong si Soto at nitong si Ping Lacson. Naku, meron hong bad news mga kababayan. Sa susunod na video na ho yun na hindi ho hindi nakakagalak yung balita na yun. Talagang yung mga tao sa Senado, lahat ng maniobra gagawin nila para hindi na masundan yung pagsasalita nitong si Master Sergeant Orly Gutesa. Napakatindi ho kasi nun mga kababayan. Kaya sandamukal na diversionary tactics ang ginawa nila para mailihis ang usapan. Pero hindi ho natin paiintulutan yan. Papasadaan ho natin ang issue ng anomalyang flood control projects na kagaya na lamang nito. Konektado pa rin ho yan yung pagsasalita na yan itong si Congressman Kiko Barzaga dyan sa napakaraming issue ngayon sa ating bansa.
Mess.
Saludo
na
Congressman
natin.
Kiko.
Well, the Speaker
Mabuhay
controls
ka.
everything in the House. So, by that nature, we could assume that he controlled everything during that time. No budget could pass through without the Speaker's approval. He has full control, especially with the supermajority that voted for him, which I was a part of before. He had full control over practically all committees.
Nakinabang ka ba bilang member ng mayorya? As a young congressman, nabigyan ka ba ng mga proyekto para sa iyong distrito?
Yes, pero mga 1 month, 2 months pa lang ako naging congressman noon before I left NUP. Kaya wala naman masyado. Like konti lang, and then wala na ever since when I went against Romualdez, all of the accounts were gone.
Hindi kayo nagkakasalubong ni Martin?
I never seen him in the House, actually.
Okay.
Kahit even during the time when he was Speaker, he's very rarely seen in the House.
Which
Ay,
means
grabe naman.
that he was not reporting to the House?
Well, I think he has different tasks at hand because he has deputy speakers who could fill his role for him. Maybe he had meetings to attend to or other plans.
How much are you worth?
Before, I was worth a few millions. Like bago na, because I had my work as counselor and everything. And then, nung namatay si Cong PD, ang dami niyang
Your dad?
iba-ibang, yes.
Okay.
Dami niyang iba-ibang properties because he was a lawyer for decades, politician for multiple decades. So, ngayon, di namin alam actually. Because there are certain properties or assets that he has that cannot be divided between me, my siblings, and my mother. So,
Okay.
medyo, ngayon, hindi pa masyadong naaasikaso yun.
Ibang-iba ka raw sa tatay mo.
Yes.
How different are you from your father?
Well, I've never seen Kong PD in Congress, so I would not be able to talk on his behalf about how he was during his time. But for me, I'm not just different from Kong PD, but I'm also different from every other congressman.
I remember watching your interview with Jessica Soho.
Ang ganda nung sinabi niya. Ang ganda ko na sinabi niya na yon. Dahil nakita niyo naman ho mga kababayan, yung majority, hindi lahat majority ng mga congressman dyan sa House of Representatives, ano ho yung mga yan, kumbaga, ang tawag dito, mga trapo. Yung tipong sabay sa agos lang sila kung ano yung kung saan sila kikita, kung saan sila may pakinabang, doon sila pwesto. Pero itong si Kong PD, wala ho siyang pakialam doon. Ang gusto niya lamang yung ika nga niya yung mga tinuturing niyang kaibigan mapaglingkuran yung sambayan ng Pilipino. Saludo dito kay Congressman PD Barzaga. Magsenador ka,
Sabi
sir.
mo, oo, nepo baby ako.
Magsenador ka, sir.
Are you living on money na ninakaw?
Yeah, I can steal anything, so I'm not necessarily living off stolen funds.
Kasi I was wondering nung sinabi mo na nepo baby ako. Ano yung ibig sabihin nun?
Someone who is part of a political dynasty.
Okay. Hindi, not necessarily may private planes,
Well, wala pa naman. First-timer congressman.
lavish yung lifestyle. Hindi yun ang ibig sabihin mo.
Siguro pag medyo tumagal ako sa kongreso, baka yun na yung ibig sabihin kapag may private plane na ako. But right now, we just have to settle with whatever little we have.
In the same interview,
Kumbaga sa napaka unorthodox. Nang style nitong si Kiko Barzaga.
kung tinanong ka, kung may pangako ka, kung maipapangako mo sa bayan na hindi ka magiging corrupt, your answer was very interesting.
Everyone would say the same thing. They would all say that they will never become corrupt. Well, as for me, you'll just have to wait and see.
Which means,
That despite how I portray myself in the media and during interviews, one should not completely trust me because I am still a politician. You should not trust that I will never be corrupt just because I said it. You should always just wait and see any further evidence or further details before you decide on a politician's nature.
I truly understand that. Maniwala ka. I truly understand that. That's very honest. But as we speak today, are you trustworthy? We don't
Right.
have to wait for the future. I mean, just now. Can we trust you because you're a public servant?
Right now, I'd like you to trust me.
Why did you post having so much cash? What was that?
Hindi ko alam kung ano yun.
Was that
bonus
before you
yun.
became congressman?
Yeah, before I became congressman. Si Kong PD, minsan pag may mga achievements ako or may successful akong ginagawa, binibigyan niya ako ng money or bonus for Christmas. So, pinapost ko.
Okay, pero ang dami nun. That must be in the millions.
The biggest I've held was 2 million.
Okay. And you post with the 2
Yes.
million. Okay.
Well, during that time, it was my first time seeing that much money. So, syempre, pupost ko yun.
Are you attracted by opulence, by all this money? Nakita namin yung mesa na punong-puno ng pera.
Well, actually, ngayon, yung sahod namin sa Kongreso, and just the benefits alone, you don't have to work for everything. All the food there is free. Your staff are also allocated to you. Your secretaries, everything, even the legal team. So if I had that much money, what would I spend it on? That's just more problems. Because whether I'm earning like 1 million a month or 10 million a month, over earning like 200 million a month, there's no difference. Because at that point, I'd be earning so much that I can't spend it on anything. I'll just be buying random things, which what I believe the other congressmen are
I
doing now.
understand.
When they're buying like trips to Europe or buying private jets or sports cars. Yes, at some point, you make
Problema ho ng mga magnanakaw na mayaman, no? Hindi nila malaman kung saan nila idadala yung kanilang mga ninakaw, di ba? Anak na betong karabata. Di ba? Problema ho ng mga mayayamang politikong magnanakaw sa pamahalaan. Hindi ho nila malaman kung saan nila dadalhin yung mga pera
so
nila.
much money that you start just scamming yourself and buying useless things. And I don't really want to get scammed.
And this is who you are. Hindi ikaw ito, Kiko.
Well, not yet. Hindi ka pa alam. We don't know because once you start telling yourself that you can never be evil, that's the most dangerous situation to place yourself in because everything you do from that point on, you would believe to be good, even when it's evil. So every time, you always have to ask yourself whether or not you're still doing the right thing, whether or not you're still a good person. So if you're
Oy, Lacson, naririnig mo ba itong mga salita na ito na nanggagaling sa bata? Lacson, naririnig mo ba ito?
always saying that I am a good person,
Naririnig mo ba? Baka si Lacson din niya na tinatanong sarili niya, no? Basta tinatanong niya na lang si Martin Romuald.
and then you start allowing
Saludo,
small
sa'yo.
evils while still believing that you are good. That's when you start actually becoming bad. Speaker Romualdez did not become like that overnight. At some point, he was probably a very genuine person that wanted the best for his country, and then eventually he started to justify those budgets, those plans, trying to get the support of the congressmen, and it being a necessary expense to support them financially as well. And during that time, maybe he got so used to it that it became what he was.
Kiko, you know yourself. Are you honest?
I try to be as honest as possible.
You try. Are you loyal to the country?
Yes.
How
Well,
much do you love this country?
the best interest of the Philippines, when you start to consider that, is that if you apply it on a larger scale, if every citizen will only think about the best interests of their own countries, then that's where we have geopolitical issues and wars. What if instead of considering the best interests of only our country, we consider what the best interest of the world is? And that's what I'd like to consider. I want to do what's best for the Philippines, but on a grander scale, I want to do what is best for the world as a whole.
Kung buhay ang daddy mo, you think he would be proud of you?
He'd be scared probably,
He'd be scared
because
because
he is always the type to always bet on the wrong president or always bet on the wrong administration. He endorsed Chidoro, he endorsed Rojas, he endorsed Robredo. He does not want to make the wrong decisions afterwards. So after his president loses, he tries to do his best to get closer to the administration. But I went to the exact opposite direction, where I endorsed the winning president, but instead I chose to go against the administration after my president won.
you have supporters, but you also realize na napakalaki ng posibilidad na marami ang naiinis sa'yo sa loob ng Kongreso.
Well, it's okay if they hate me. The people hate them as well.
Okay. What bothers you? I mean,
Basic, no? Ang galit sila sa ano problema. Sambay ng Pilipino, galit sambay ng Pilipino sa mga walang yung magnanakaw na. Magaling tong si
nothing
Congressman.
seems to bother you.
The way I see it is there are 300 people, or maybe less, around 200, 250 people there in Congress that hate me. But there are millions, maybe over 100 million of people that hate the people in Congress. So who has a larger number? Because people only consider the representatives as the numbers there, but in reality, the number always belong to the Filipino people.
Aren't you betraying your family?
How am I betraying my family?
Because you're going against the principles, if there are principles of political dynasties.
Well, yes, but betraying my family for the greater good is also worth it.
And you will fight for that. And that's probably why a lot of people don't understand. Kasi nga, you keep on saying political dynasty. Produkto ka ng isang political dynasty. Why do you say so? Are you proud of that? Or are you just being realistic?
Well, it's not something I have any feelings about. It's something that exists and it's there, and I have to acknowledge it. Now, the reason I'm part of a political dynasty is because my family is in politics. My parents were in politics before me. My great-grandfather
Yes.
is where it all started from, one of the first municipal mayors of Dasmariñas, and also a notable figure, a captain, I believe, of the KKK during the Spanish times.
Right. You're proud of your family. You're proud of the achievements of your family,
Yes,
especially for your area, for your district. You are.
yes.
What is it that you want the Filipino people watching us, eavesdropping on this conversation to understand about it? Ano yung pinaka-importanteng mensahe na nais mong iparating sa sambayanan?
Well, just think whatever you want about me. That's fine, because I would act accordingly in reaction to what the general public assumption of me would be.
Pero ayaw mo bang isipin namin that you're capable of affecting change?
Well, if
That you're someone we can trust? That you're someone who is different from the rest
if
in a good way?
if you start to believe that, then what stops the next congressman or the next upcoming politician to promise the same thing and possibly gain a higher position than end up betraying the people?
Pero
If you-
kailangan, Kiko,
I don't want
may paniwalaan kami.
I don't want the general public to be gullible. I want them to know that if they cannot see change within the world, they themselves must be the change that they wish to see. And that's the exact method that I'm doing right now. I cannot change the house alone, but I will change as much as I can alone.
Where is this going to end? I mean, not you, but itong lahat, itong investigation, budget hearing in Congress, the independent commission. Where do you see this going?
There's no end to this. Human nature always has room for conflict. And in that conflict, these types of battles emerge. There are no ends to these. I'm merely another result of the system. A system that's corrupt will also produce people who seek justice for themselves and for the greater community as a whole.
Itong ingay na ito, itong your presence right now, you are in the consciousness of the multitude. All this visibility, all this, bagong buhay mo ngayon, Kiko. I mean, people are interested. People like you, people don't like you, but you're present in people's minds, which I think is good. Saan mo gusto dalhin ito?
But right now, all I've been thinking about is the speakership and how I could ensure that Romualdez will face accountability for any possible crimes he was involved in, and also the other people in the House. But hopefully, this might become a new movement, a new take on politics, and how my ideas and the ideas of the new generation could help shape this country and prevent us from reaching the same results that we've always been reaching.
You take good care of yourself. You are healthy.
Yes.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, too busy for that. But I do.
Talaga?
I do casually date girls time to time, like twice, 3 times a week.
As you would say, you're human. You have
Yes,
to
of
balance your
course.
life, you know?
Yeah.
So no girlfriend at this point.
And no serious relationship, but I am seeing girls. I'm having my
You finally
fun.
smiled.
Yes. Yeah, I'm having my fun.
Bata pa ho, pero dito sa pinapakita niyang prinsipyo at paninindigan, mas mature pa ho yung pagiging makabayan niya kumpara doon sa mga tumanda na sa politika na namuti na lang ang buhok sa paghawak ng matataas na pwesto sa pamahalaan, pero wala yung mentalidad na meron tong bata na to, mas matindi pa ho siya doon sa mga ika nga, kung tawagin lang mga sariling live veterano.
That's good.
Hindi yung mga sa mga pictures ha. Those are complete professionals. That's part of their job to do it.
Yes.
Mga, kasi parang mga influencers din sila. Tapos yun yung mga naging mga picture photo ops nila.
Mas dumami bang nagme-message sa'yo ngayon that you're very visible?
Yes, but if I'm being perfectly honest, majority of those messaging me are from the LGBT community, which I welcome, but I have to always explain to them that I'm straight and I don't participate in that.
Niligawan ka na ng bakla?
I always say no, except for...
I know you said no.
Hindi, kasi may
You raised it.
may time dati na naipag-date ako tapos hindi ko pala alam na transgender. But that's,
okay.
that's
They're very interesting women. Yeah.
yes, but like, that's a funny memory
Transgender
now.
woman.
Hindi
So
ko
ano
pa,
nangyari sa date?
hindi, nalaman ko lang after, pero,
After may nangyari?
hindi, wala mang nangyari sa
okay.
amin. But like, it's a casual date, tapos malalaman ko from her friend na, transgender. It's a very funny story, but not really one I'd like to say in front of everyone.
I really understand. Okay, since you raised that, what is your stand on the LGBT community, the same-sex marriage, etc.?
There are multiple layers to this. Firstly, it starts with acceptance, but to what point would that acceptance be? And how could that relate to legislation? So I believe that it's not in my right to say whether or not a homosexual may be married, but it's something that someone who is more well-versed in the topic
Okay,
should
let's
decide.
bring it to civil rights. Palagay mo at least may bibigay ang civil rights sa bayang ito. You know, like they would invoke na ang pag-aasawa ay sa babae at lalaki lamang. Like, I am an LGBT person, man, who has been in a long-term relationship, but I cannot plug, claiming the body of my partner. I don't even have the right. We can't even adopt conjugally. We can't even own properties together. This is what I mean by basic rights.
Yes, we've had a discussion about that in terms of local ordinance. And ultimately, my final decision on it has been that it is something that must start with the national. So once Congress has made a decision, or at least the majority of Congress, or the ones involved in that committee, has made a decision, then that's when we can start considering what possible legislations could be
Yeah.
made. But from a personal perspective, yes, I do believe that you have the right to care for your significant other.
In your own very unique way, you talk about being unique as a Filipino. You're very realistic in a way that people misunderstand for just being different. But I know you have a story.
Yes.
I know in your heart that I respect your story.
Thank you.
I do. Maraming salamat.
Ayun na nga mga kababayan, napakaganda ho nung naging interview na yun, itong si Congressman Kiko Barzaga dito kay Sir Boy Abunda. Maraming salamat ho sa pagsuporta sa PH Update. Mag-ingat ho kayo lahat. Malinad ng Pilipinas. Maraming salamat mga kababayan.